What is up, family? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling amazing. I hope you're staying safe and staying protected. Today, what we're going to talk about is how to use visualization to completely transform your life. How do we use our minds so that we can feel more empowered and more connected to our future? How can we use our minds to really feel like we can connect with that version of ourselves that we want, that version of ourselves that we aspire to be? When we practice visualization correctly, man, it transformed my life. I was taught visualization when I was playing football in my professional days. We had a coach that came in and he shared some tips with me, and it absolutely changed my life. And I promise you, when you learn how to practice visualization correctly, it will transform your whole life. And the reason I say that is because visualization is truly a full body experience. It literally shifts and changes you from the inside out. It shifts your DNA. When you tap into that image, an image that you love, an image that you crave, a dream, a goal of yours, when you tap into it and you really walk through it, it's kind of like virtual reality. I mean, your whole body feels it when done correctly. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to do it correctly so that we can shift and we can transform our life. Because when we do it right, we truly feel connected to our future, and it helps get us up out of bed and keep moving and working towards it no matter what the obstacles are. But what happens is, a lot of us, we use this powerful technique, but we use it the wrong way. We use it against ourselves. We visualize the worst case scenario 9 times out of 10. I did it the majority of my life. I was the type of person that was always preparing for the worst case scenario. And, it's human nature, because we want to protect ourselves and we want to make sure that we don't have to deal with that worst case scenario. But what happens is, when we think about it, say for example, if we have a job interview and we're constantly thinking of this scenario where the interviewer just curses us out and throws us out the room, or says, hell no, we don't want you. And we feel the anxiety of it. And maybe we prepare and say, okay, this is how we avoid that situation. But at the same time, when we do this over and over again, our bodies begin to get used to the stress, to the anxiety, to the worry that we're continuing to feel. And if we don't pair that with positive images in our mind, then our body can become lopsided. We become a much more stressed individual. I remember when I was playing football, before I learned visualization and the power of it, I would always prepare for the worst. I didn't want to get embarrassed. I didn't want to get juked. I was a linebacker, and one of the most embarrassing things I could think of is being on national television and getting juked or getting beat deep on a bomb to a running back or something. And I would always fill my minds up with these scenarios, and the images would come and it would show me getting beat. And it was really a technique that actually helped me out in a lot of ways, because I did do the work to analyze, okay, how do I make sure that doesn't happen? How do I make sure that doesn't happen? But overall, my body was used to feeling worry and feeling anxiety. So when I played, a lot of times going into game day, I would come into it with some anxiety, because I've spent so much time focusing on what can go wrong. And when I stopped playing, that habit continued. My body was still getting used to preparing for the worst and preparing for it by feeling the anxiety of it, analyzing the best way to avoid it, and moving forward. And overall, I became a bit more stressed, and I had to focus on different techniques to get over that. But that's what happens. And the reason it happens that way is because our bodies are our unconscious mind. And what that means is that it can't tell the difference between an experience that we actually see and experience in real time, or a memory or a thought. So if we had an actual experience where we had a bad car accident as a child, that experience made us feel some type of trauma. Our bodies felt it. Now, when we think back at the memory of it and we imagine it, we still will feel that same traumatic feeling, and our body doesn't know the difference. It's just going to take the experience and learn from it the same exact way. So when we practice visualization correctly, we can reverse that process and start to train our bodies to feel joy, start to train our bodies to feel more gratitude and prepare itself for the future that we're looking to create. And so here's some tips, just a few tips that can really assist you when practicing visualization. One of the first things I had to learn was that before we get started and practice visualization, we want to get centered. So for me, one of the things that used to trip me up, I would be in this kind of state where a state that I didn't like. I'd be kind of worried, feeling anxious, mind kind of going all over the place or feeling kind of stuck. And I learned about visualization, and so I would quickly try to jump into the image or the vision of my ideal future. And I would do it so that I could feel joy and get up out of that state. But what I found was when I tried to just go from that stressful state and immediately try to think of the image and try to pull up the vision, it was very difficult. It wouldn't happen. I just would keep battling back and forth with that stressful, analytical, worrying mind, and it would keep really attacking the vision that I was looking to create in my mind. Pretty much it just wasn't going to happen. And so I had to learn that before I got started, that I needed to put my phone down, turn my computer off, and really get into a state where I was feeling centered, where I calmed my mind down. I got to that theta state, that alpha state, and I truly relaxed my mind. And then when I would do that, it would become a lot easier for those images to come to mind and me to get into that true visualization mode. And so getting centered is super important to bypass that analytical mind so that we can truly paint the image in our brain. The second thing that I have realized was super important for visualizing correctly is to see it from the first person point of view, the first person perspective. So if we're sitting here visualizing ourselves in our ideal vision, say for me, when I was a kid, it was growing up and playing professional football. So if I'm visualizing myself and I'm seeing myself kind of like the third person perspective, imagine like a video game where you see someone's back running and you see the whole body. If you imagine yourself walking into a stadium like that, you still kind of feel disconnected from it. So to have a powerful visualization, you want to see it as if you're seeing it with your own two eyes. So if you pull up your hands in your mind, you should see your hands. If you look in a mirror, you should see a reflection of yourself. You want to treat it as a first person point of view perspective. So it's like you're walking in your vision. It makes it a lot more just hearty. It makes it more grounding. It makes it more real. And you feel more connected to this vision instead of seeing it from the outside in. A lot of times other people have taught visualization and it's been like looking at the vision on a movie screen. So now you really feel disconnected from it. And it can work to some extent, but to really maximize the practice, being in that first person point of view is super, super important. The next thing that I learned was super important is to engage all five senses if you can. So back to that vision of me as a child, visualizing going and playing football. When you walk into that stadium, what do you smell? Maybe it's the grass coming out of maybe it's the grass smell. Maybe it's, hot dogs, popcorn. The more you can bring in the senses, what do you hear? The crowd going crazy. You hear other teammates sneezing and farting and making all type of noises and stuff. What are the different things you may be tasting. Maybe it's the trainers trying to get some Gatorade in you. You know, pretty much the point is when you bring all of your senses into that experience, you start to really be able to connect and experience it in a way that feels even more so real. So when we go back, you get centered. You're looking at it from the first person point of view, and you start to engage your senses, and you really feel yourself walking through that scene. It becomes that much more real. And the final tip that I want to really give you is that when you're learning to visualize, if it's difficult to see the future or a future that you're looking to move towards, it helps to practice with memories. Conjure up a few really good memories that you've had in your life that really brought you true joy, that really brought you to true gratitude. And practice visualizing it. Get centered. Calm yourself down first. Get to a space where you can have a clear mind. See yourself in that first person perspective walking through that memory, and ask yourself, what did it smell like? What was I touching? What did the ground feel like that I was walking on? Was it cold? Was it hot? Was I sweating? You know, really engage as much as possible and consume yourself in that vision. And it really helps to start with that memory when you can't think of a better vision for the future. But ultimately, it truly helps when you are looking to move towards something to really see it and really feel connected to it. Because when you visualize, you truly feel as if that future has already happened. Now, this is an important question for you that you can walk away with this talk with. And I want you to ponder this question all day. Just ponder it. Think about it. What would you do if you truly knew how your movie was going to end? What would you do if you truly knew how your movie was going to end? When you visualize and you see the end of your movie and you truly feel it, like your body, your whole DNA, every part of you experiences this movie all in your mind. What would you do if you knew how your movie would end? Would you trip out with the obstacles that you run into on the way there, on the journey? Or would you know that it's all a part of the beautiful plan that's going to get you there? That's a question that you can ask yourself and start to ponder a little bit, because that's the power, the true power of visualization. That's how it will transform your whole life, because you will start to feel like you're being pulled towards your vision rather than feeling like you're pushing against an immovable obstacle, against something that is bigger than you. You'll feel pulled to it because you already know it exists. You've already felt it. Your body, you can't tell your body it didn't exist because you felt that joy and you've been walking through it. And just like anything, it takes practice and it won't happen overnight. But you continue to work over those steps. You continue to fine tune that vision, and it really can become a powerful, powerful practice for you. And I'm excited for you all because, you know, we all can do a little part in our future, in the future of our world, by visualizing a world that's much better than it is today. And we do that when we use the power of our mind. And so that's all I got for you. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope it resonated. If you have any questions and you want to talk, you can DM me on Instagram at Mighty King Jenkins, or leave a comment below. Please, if you enjoyed it, if it helped, subscribe, press that thumbs up, like it, tap the bell for the notifications, and I will be back for another video next Wednesday. I'm excited for you guys. I love you. Enjoy yourself. Stay protected. Stay safe. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.